My mother-in-law took my baby pictures without permission, so I told them to give it back.
Give it back. No.
Give it here. I honestly don't even know where to start. I, 38 female, have been with my husband, 32 male, for 5.5 years. Married for 3 years. We have a 2.5-year-old daughter and a 6-month-old son. I always knew mother-in-law was pretty high on the bad rap crazy scale, but this newest situation takes the cake for me. By the way, this comes from Smallest Hydra on the OK Storytime subreddit. So I actually have another post about her, and I'll leave the link if you want. But to make an incredibly long story short, she has ruined almost everything she has been involved with, treats us like children, and doesn't respect us in the slightest. That being said, let's get to the matter at hand. When our house was being renovated in 2022, shortly after our daughter was born, we moved in with my in-laws until the renovation was finished. During that time, which was also hell, I brought over my personal baby pictures for some family members to see how alike my daughter and I were. I don't know why, but I ended up leaving the photo album there once we moved. I wasn't concerned about it because why would anything happen to it? It was on a nice credenza with other photos. Now, aside from these being my baby pictures, most of them do not have duplicates or negatives to make copies of. I have digitized some, but not all. About 12 years ago, my family's photos were stored in my parents' basement when the basement flooded, and we lost nearly all of them. I decided that year for Christmas, with my parents' permission, I would distribute each of the siblings, 5 of us, baby photos in a personalized book, with mom and dad choosing which ones they wanted to keep first. Everyone loved it.
That's nice.
I'm going to be honest, if I had lost all my stuff in a flood, I would immediately digitize all the remaining photos. I would do that before I gave it out to anyone.
Sure, that makes sense.
Especially
if there's no duplicates.
No, especially if there's no duplicates and you already lost all those. I would absolutely digitize those. We've had a lot of issues with mother-in-law as of late, to the point where we had to have a come to Jesus meeting with her and father-in-law to make them understand how we've been feeling about their, mostly her, behavior.
What's a come to Jesus conversation?
They're like, hey, you need to change your act.
I've never heard that phrase.
Yeah. It's been a few weeks since then, and things are still tense, but have gotten better. We are moving next week and have asked mother-in-law to bring photo album over to us or for us to come get it several times, and she did not reply to us regarding it. Uh-oh.
Scary.
We went over there for Labor Day dinner, and I grabbed it from the credenza, so I didn't forget to bring it home. Father-in-law stopped me and said, oh, hey, there are some pictures mixing from there. We're getting photocopies of them. I looked and realized there were paper copies in place of the kissing photos, something I hadn't noticed when looking at it earlier. I was stunned and just said, oh, okay, thinking they were making the copies at home. Mother-in-law said, you're our daughter-in-law. We wanted some pictures of you. Seems a bit odd, as no one has ever done this before in the history of human existence, and the woman has hundreds of pictures of me from the past 5 years, but okay.
I've never heard of like a parent-in-law is like, I want baby photos of our daughter-in-law.
I was going to say, did they flood the house?
Yeah.
Like, we don't want any traces of you.
Yeah.
Jesus. I asked them to let me know when they were done so that I could pack it. I didn't really think about it anymore until the next day, and the weirdness set in, and I realized I was pissed. Even my husband has never heard of an in-law having their child's spouse's baby pictures just because.
And going through the effort to photocopy. It's like one thing to receive it.
Yeah, no, it's like I'm gonna
take it to a studio and copy them.
If it were for a baby shower or wedding or some other kind of occasion, cool, but at least ask first. Well, I tried to let it go and was feeling better about it when I asked my husband to have his mom bring the album when she comes over tomorrow. She told him the photos were sent away to a company in another town to have actual photo duplicates made. I'm a black girl and I felt myself turn white with rage. Not only had this woman taken my photos without asking, she sent them to a third party, replaced them with paper copies clearly from her printer, and probably thought I wouldn't notice.
Well, yeah, I don't understand the replacing with paper photos because the father-in-law immediately told them about it.
Yeah, it's like, what? And I don't know. This is weird. I'm like, maybe you should have taken the paper photos. She had to create a profile with this third party and paid money for them to be copied onto photo paper, all without my knowledge or consent. At no point in this process did she stop and think, I should probably ask permission to do this. Oh no. She tried to cover her tracks by refusing to acknowledge our request for her to bring the album and replacing the photos with paper ones. When I questioned my husband about this, he said she told him the photos won't be ready until next Monday. Then she would bring it over. I said, absolutely not. And that she needed to cancel that order and bring them to me ASAP. And if she didn't go get them, we would. He sent it, and as of about an hour ago, she still has not replied. But she messed up in telling him where they are, so if she doesn't get them by tomorrow, I'm gonna get them myself. I also told him that if she argues with him, she can call me, which at this point she knows is not a good idea, especially if I have to go get them myself.
I'm happy to have a OP who is a woman who is like the one that has no issue standing up for themselves.
Yeah, she's like, no, I'm gonna go get those.
Like usually in these stories,
Yeah.
if OP is a woman and they're like being disrespected by their like their family-in-law, it's usually like talking to the their partner, like, can you please help? Like, I'm too scared to talk to them.
He's like, no.
But OP was like, not okay. Give it to me right now.
Give it here.
It's refreshing. I like it.
This may seem trivial to some people, but those photos are very special to me, and I just don't understand. Has anyone else dealt with this kind of thing? And there is an update here, but dang. Yeah. No, I think you're good for you standing up for yourself. They shouldn't be taking your photos without your permission and copying them. That's strange.
Do you think,
Yes,
even though it was a terrible miscommunication or no communication whatsoever, do you think they took the photos to try and get her copies to like, oh, we are preserving your photos, you know?
I don't know, but that should have been.
From what they communicated, it was like
it.
We
it
want
didn't
the
seem like it.
photos.
No, but like, again, like it was really poor. Like it was trying to be maybe be like a surprise. I don't know.
But yeah, the way it was communicated was like, we want some photos of you.
Yeah.
That's what I don't know. Like, what's the reasoning of why you really took those photos? There's no way you like, oh, we took those photos because we needed photos of our, daughter-in-law.
I think it's strange, but I don't think it would be the weirdest thing.
But they were like, also, aren't they like baby photos or something like that?
Yeah,
they're
all
baby photos of OP.
Yeah,
which is why it's like so strange.
Why do you need baby photos?
It's not like wedding photos or anything.
It's strange,
Yeah.
but again, I think like it's not the craziest thing.
It's
like,
not. No,
it
it's
feels
not the
like
craziest thing, but it's just
extremely
like
odd.
it's just it's not. I wouldn't say it's like insane. It's just rude.
It's rude to not ask permission because you're handling someone's photos
That
and
they
you're
only have
sending
one
them
of.
away.
Yes.
And
Not asking.
you're getting copies of them when they're not yours.
Yeah. But there is an update.
Okay.
She started this process on August 10th. So for nearly a month now, this photo lab has had my pictures and she said nothing about it. Whoa. So,
wait.
it's not, so basically it's not even been like a couple days. Like she just sent them out. They've been out.
Wait, can you go back?
For a month. The mother-in-law started the process on August 10th. And it's been a month that these photos have been out to the lab.
So it's just like a slow lab.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. But like Opie's just finding out about it at this point. The good news is that the photos are about ready to be picked up today, as apparently she called and had them rushed after my husband talked to her yesterday. But a month, she had so many opportunities to include me in this process, yet refused to do so. And she is still ignoring my husband and I. I'm so glad we're moving away from her toxic, sneaky self. By the way, I would never want you guys to move away from listening to full episodes of stories like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story, and I think we've thought our thoughts.
We've thought our thoughts.
Let's get into it. Update 2. I got the book back.
Hey.
Woo! Nice. All the pictures included, thankfully. Father-in-law dropped off the photo album last night and gave a half-hearted apology, saying they should have asked first.
I should have asked.
I didn't have the energy to question him. I just said, yeah, you should have, and took the album. Meanwhile, mother-in-law is ignoring me and my husband and hasn't apologized herself. I have half a kind to just tell her not to come and help us move next week. I want her to at least be on okay enough terms for her to say bye to the kids, but the last time she did talk to me, she mildly chastised me about how far away we'll be. It's 3 hours by car, 2.5 if you go at the right time. I'm just so done with both mother-in-law and father-in-law, and I'm very glad to be leaving them and their guilt-ridden shenanigans behind. And that is the end of that story. But yeah, good for you for standing up for yourself and getting your photos back.
For sure. And also, I don't think they did like the crazy. It was for sure rude.
It wasn't
to
like
not
the
include you
insanest thing.
in the process, to not communicate, to not ask your permission. I don't think it was like the craziest thing.
No.
But hopefully, when the mom is probably just dealing with like guilt or just emotions at like being called out.
Yeah.
And so hopefully when those calm down,
she could
like look with fresh eyes and be like, yeah, you're right. I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry. So hopefully
Hopefully.
she could give like an actual apology.
But let's get into this next story.